Hey, this is Rip Jenkins, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Rip Jenkins Raw, where every day I help you live in such a way that every day, in every way, can become a masterpiece. Today, I want to talk about your growth plan. Do you have a growth plan? Yeah, what an amazing question, because a lot of people I know do not have a plan for growth. I was talking with a young lady yesterday, and my main question to her was, "What's your growth plan? What are you doing to build yourself?" I love Kim Blanchard, and Kim wrote the book "Live Like Jesus," and or lead lead like Jesus. Let me get the book right. So in that he says there are four things the way Jesus led. First of all, he led from his heart. Now that's an important place to begin. It's where your core convictions are. He led from the perspective of, I know who I am, I know where I'm going, I know what I want to do. So it had to begin in his heart, not just in his head. A lot of us lead with head knowledge and not heart awareness. And that's okay, because your heart needs to impact your head. That's what Kim Blanchard said. He says it begins with his heart and then it goes to his head. That if your heart is good, then what you're thinking about, what you're doing, what you're experiencing is being informed and impacted by where your heart is. So it's heart, then your head. Then he talks about your hands, because it's your head that controls what your hands do. And then finally, he says the last H of that is that if you do that long enough, it will become your habit. So it's your heart, your head, your hands, and your habits. And there's four things I want to talk to you today about your growth plan. You know, in the gospel, we have this amazing story of that in between time between when Jesus was born and before he started his ministry. And it talks about his family going up to Jerusalem for a Passover celebration. And on this particular experience, they came, they did their celebration, and then they left. But when they left, Jesus didn't go with them. And they didn't know that for a while. It wasn't until they came back searching for him that they found him. And that's really the first lesson I want to share. Jesus had what we could call a posture for growth. He believed that his growth potential, the growth that he needed to have, existed at that place there in the temple. Now, temple's pretty cool. It's a place where a lot of people are. But when his parents came back, they found him simply listening in the presence of wise teachers. You see, the posture of growth requires that you and I surround ourselves with people who are smarter than us. I'm not going to grow from someone who isn't as smart as me. Now, I can be friends with a lot of people. But if I want to be challenged, I got to be challenged by someone who has a lot more going on than what I've got going on. Because sometimes, there's not a lot going on up there. So I want to surround myself with smart people, with people who are going to challenge me, people who are going to force me forward, people who are going to, create a better me. And it can only happen when I surround myself with people who are wiser than me. So that posture of growth is accepting people to come in. Number two, it said that he listened. So he had the ability to hear, to consume. I've got a good friend that, when I talk, he writes things down. It's really kind of weird to me, but I love that dearly. But he wants to learn so much, and he's consuming that, and he's writing it down. It said that Jesus was listening to what they were saying, and then probably most importantly, it says that he was asking questions. You see, if you want to grow, you've got to ask questions. If you want to go from one place to the next, you've got to ask the right questions. And so there has to be a posture for growth. Number two, there has to be a priority for growth. It's that same passage. There's reference to things that Jesus had a priority in his life. It says that he was growing in nurturing, so he was learning how to nurture, probably learning that from his mother. He was learning wisdom. It means he was surrounding himself with the people who are smarter than him. He was developing his physical physique, so he was, he just wasn't laying around, watching, television in biblical times. No, he was developing his body, and then it says he was discovering favor with God, and so he had a priority in his growth journey. What is it he wanted to do? Where did he want to become? Where was he going to end up? You see, then not only did he have that priority, he had a practice. He embraced the practices of growth. There's many of us who want to grow without doing the work. If I could just zip open my head and pour in more understanding and more wisdom and more ideas, then that would be great. But it just doesn't happen that way. I have to embrace a strategy. Now, what's your strategy? Maybe it's inviting someone to come in and challenge you. Maybe it's the process of where you go, I need to read a book, or I need to develop a daily habit, a daily purpose where every morning I'm starting out learning something and I'm reflecting upon that. You see, just learning something isn't the same as embracing the practice for growth. So what's your practice for growth? I want to challenge you to find one today. And then, let me end up with this one. There needs to be a purpose for growth. As John Maxwell has said, that when you find your why, you find your way. Until you understand what your purpose is, it's very difficult to create the things that are going to help you reach that purpose. We've all heard this quote, and I love it. And it simply says this: your talent, or your talents, if you're lucky, your talents is God's gift to you. What you do with them is your gift to God. Hey, this is Rip Jenkins. You can find me at ripjenkins.com. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye.